Okay, so I just wanted to kind of to chat for a second. Maybe we'll rotate this a little, and we'll just have a little chit chat. So I want to talk about some expectations for a minute because man, I think that there's some unpopular opinions that are very hard for some people to sit with, and there's a lot of girls who like don't have the words to express this. And it's taken me a while to find these words, so I'm just going to say it. Like sometimes there's really something to social norms and social cues. So, as a black person, I feel like as a black person in America specifically, you become hyper aware to it just because like the social caste system has been so extreme that like there's just no like your the way that your parents talk to you about race is just so intense. It's just like you realize kind of like your life chances and really specific ways that your life could end, basically if you're in certain situations. That's not the point though. The point that I'm trying to make here is specifically about women, because I feel like I see something happening where like some men do not realize that they're down bad, like really bad, and that like and they're trying to compare themselves to women, which is a false sense of reality. Like, here's the real deal is kind of like we really have like we have to have a conversation about the great replacement theory, because when people are coming in, the whole point of the great replacement theory is like there are people who are not American who are coming to America to like reap the benefits of Americana, of like freedom of speech, public education, grocery stores and public transit, universities, and sort of, you know, how do you say it? Like multiculturalism, right? Um, but the whole point is like they come from somewhere. And if this is not clear, they come from somewhere that's like worse than here. That's the whole point of them coming here. Like if I was already living in like a San Francisco, like if I okay, I just made a video about this, so let's just put it in this context. If I was Taylor Swift's cat, okay, and I was already worth $97 million, um I would probably in my head be like, I'm doing something right because this catnip is like I'm eating caviar catnip every night, and T Swizzle is like taking me for walks. Life is good. Maybe I might make a couple decisions to be and like test the waters to be like, oh, I wonder if it's kind of better. And you can do things to sort of like understand if life would be better if you were to kind of branch out. I don't think that everyone else in the rest of the world realizes that that's what all Americans have been doing. Black Americans, white Americans, Latino Americans, Asian Americans. We've all been doing that. We just like look out and say like, "Oh, I wonder if I make this decision or if I do this, will my life improve? Will it get easier?" Cuz everybody just wants to live a simpler life and not work. We all want to do kind of the minimum amount of labor required for living, and then, spend the rest of our time doing the things that we actually like to do. Some people like playing golf, other people like playing basketball. For me, I like cinema. So I like watching movies, and I really, really like exploring artists and eating food. Those are my hobbies. Like, I can do that for the rest of my life and I will have lived a fulfilled life. Some of you don't appreciate fine art, and so you like for you doing that would be awful because you'd have to compare yourself to someone else. But let's go back to this schedule for a second. So I just feel like there's so many of you who've just not grown up in the middle class, so you just don't understand like the way that shit is supposed to work. Like everyone is on a schedule. So like from kindergarten through 12th grade, you are supposed to be socialized. Though, and what I mean about socialized is I mean outside, like from 0 to 5, this is before you go to school. Your parents are supposed to just like protect you and teach you how to like kind of eat food, use the restroom, put on clothes, say words, just like the basic shit about being a human and being alive. But then you go off to school to socialize with other people who are not your parents, okay? And that socialization process enables you to see how other people are different than you. Now you get to meet people who have different hair, different skin. They're shorter, they're taller, they might speak a different language. Maybe they grew up somewhere else. All of that is a part of socialization. But remember, we're still talking about American socialization. So a whole point of going through that K through 12 is so that when you come out, you can remain in America and kind of like those traditions that you've established with that group of people, you can kind of like keep them going. And now America can do better in the next generation. What has actually happened is so many people have been socialized, but it's kind of been in ways that are not good. So they've been socialized around the other groups, but I don't think they actually like the other groups very much. So then now people, especially women, are kind of like, ooh, like, well, that's another thing when we have to talk about, like, women are just doing so well in terms of like the economy and education that they are staying on schedule and staying on track and doing all the right things, and they just have all of these choices. And I'm saying women here as in all women. And I know that like some guys, they really like to do the thing where they're like, this woman is better than that woman and my woman and her, and everybody loves to compare. But in reality, comparison doesn't make any sense because like I don't really know the people who subscribe to Taylor Swift is drop dead gorgeous. We're on separate sides. It's so strange, but I'm so serious about this. Like it's just like, it's all of it is just like we all don't in the same way, and that's okay. Like I don't have to see the world. You see the world. You can see the way that I don't actually want to change you. Like there's no trying to change you, right? Like it just I don't I just don't care. I really do have like my own life. That's the thing where I think some things are interesting because I feel like some people are very much so into like tradition and family, and that's great. And so the whole point, what they're trying to do, is just like have children and get their children to do the same thing that they did. It's just that the society is moving so quickly, and there's just kind of like so few. I don't want to say there's so few resources. There's like more resources now than there were before, but like everyone can't do the same thing. So this is why I actually made this point to the AI community, and I think they all kind of started to understand because like there's really this idea that like a researcher looks a particular way. So like maybe all researchers are bald and they're white and they're slim and they're weird like Mark Zuckerberg. But then what happens when somebody like who looks like me now becomes a researcher? Okay, so now researchers look like me, and so it's like appearances can be deceiving. So what happens when there's like Yara Shahidi, who has literally my face and a very similar like character profile to me, is actually a student at Harvard, actually has a TV show that was written about my life, okay? But then like I am literally here living my life. Like she is acting in a show that's about a lived experience that I had, but then she has her real life where she's actually a student at Harvard. Like I don't go to Harvard. I've never applied to Harvard. I visited the campus, but that's as far as it's gone, you know? So I think that's where everyone has to realize like wherever you are right now, that is your reality. It can definitely change, like you can grow and evolve into something else. But I also think that unless you're like physically unsafe, mentally unsafe, or you don't have something that you need right now, if you're outside of America, I actually don't have a solution to this. But if you're in America, you should actually pretty much have everything that you need. And if you don't, there's a way that you can get it, and you should go to the government to make sure to ensure that you have the basic things that you need for survival. Okay, I'm gonna actually read this and then I'll come right back. But I think this is an interesting topic to unpack.